So we were talking about like how like when you work with somebody who doesn't under oh we're well I was talking about like I wanted to get a job in digital marketing, but then I cannot stop and just started like thinking like I don't know if I really want to do that because it is super stressful. It is a super stressful job because people are expecting results, right?
Hmm.
And you can deliver impressions. That's what I learned the most. Like that's the key, that you can definitely deliver like you should guarantee impressions but not results, right? Because of many
Um,
many reasons, right?
well, I think if you're in terms of advising a client, is what you're saying, or you mean like just as an overall goal, impressions should be the
Yeah,
main.
like if they hire you, and then you're like, all right, Mike, I want you to deliver like, I'll give you like $1,000 to run my Google Ads campaign.
Okay, well, that
And
depends largely, I think, on because you have to factor in a few things as well, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, you don't get clicks without people seeing your ads. So, of course, at the end of the day, at the bare minimum, you want to be able to get impressions. Uh, Depending on your budget, of course, though, right? So, for example, um, the university, they have $70,000 a month budget, right?
Yeah.
For each month,
And by the way,
right?
we're gonna keep the name of the university private just for for
Right. I'm
Mhm.
sure if anyone sees this face, they'll be like, "Oh, I know that guy. I know what." But let me dox him real quick.
So how much is their budget? 70K a
It's
month?
about 70K per month, and you can basically the main challenge for the agency is trying to find a way to spend that budget because it gets to a certain point where I think there, if you put it into terms of a bell curve, right, you can figure out that perfect budget amount that's pretty much achievable. But then if you go over it, it can get a bit more difficult because then maybe the search volume for certain keywords aren't exactly uh related to the amount of budget that's being spent in terms of competition as well, right?
Yeah.
Especially if the university or if the brand in general isn't so well known, then the search volume isn't so high. So imagine if, I had a keyword that was getting maybe 5,000, uh, searches per month, but I want to spend maybe uh, $20,000 on that keyword.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep creating new ways, figuring
You have
out
like
ideas for
fifteen
expanding.
thousand dollars left, basically.
And then,
Yeah.
what ends up happening most of the time too is because the larger these operations are, the more likely that once things start to get going somewhat, they're just going to automate it or even automate it from the beginning. But I have my feelings about automating your ads. You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, though, given that it's an agency and they're managing a large account, or at least a somewhat large account, because some people do seven figure, six-figure accounts,
Yeah.
but it's still a challenge for them, right? And you have to consider as well that with like COVID-19, people aren't really trying to enroll at the moment.
Yeah,
So
everybody's life seems to be like in limbo, right?
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to choose a place, right?
Yeah.
So and then you kind of consider, well, how does this translate over into something like e-commerce, right? So if you're starting an e-commerce store, and normally, right, normally I think the people who start e-commerce websites tend to not have a lot of capital, and that's
Mm-hmm.
maybe overly assumptive, but you don't have a lot of capital. So even maybe your objectives change a bit because you're more of it, especially if you're just starting, you're testing things out, you're trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. So impressions as an overall goal, it's nice to see, but I think starting out, like you're trying to see there's clicks, there's actual interest in your products, and you're paying more attention to click through rate, right? Because we can always get impressions, but we don't know the quality of those impressions. until
Yeah.
we're starting to get clicks and seeing what those search terms that are triggering our ads for. So then that's when you really have something to work with. So impressions, click through rate, search terms, and then depending on if you're running a shopping ad or search text ad, right, you can go in and, you know, of course, add those pre-negative keywords, but at the same time, you have to manage it on a, I would say, bi-weekly to weekly basis. You can even, I wouldn't say daily, because when I worked with the one guy at the agency, he basically did not want to touch the ads until the end of the week, always.
Yeah.
Let them run for the week before we adjust them.
Mm-hmm.
And that philosophy can vary depending on who it is, what kind of account it is, right? What kind of product it is, and how it's performing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, well, that was one of the, the topic why we brought it up was because of, perhaps we were discussing whether it would be better to kind of just do provide, digital marketing services on the side or be working for a company, right? Like getting hired by a company to handle accounts. And we were just talking about the pressure and stuff like that, right? And
Well, yeah, that's true because of the expectations of the client. But I think you have a responsibility to kind of first, you got to kind of demonstrate your knowledge. That's just what is required in digital marketing. You
yeah,
got to be willing to not only demonstrate your knowledge, but then eventually accept that, other people will come along and they're going to say, I can do a better job than this person.
hmm, those
You
Reddit
know,
forums, man. That's a
let me audit your account
yeah,
and I'm going to find something wrong that he's doing. I'm going to call it out and I'm going to, big myself up. So, one other thing too, what I was thinking was, whenever I do account audits, I always look for what's positive so I can let that person know. And anything I think is kind of negative or iffy, I kind of bring it up as just like a, hey, I'm curious, I don't really know about this. So it kind of comes off across as they can feel more comfortable providing an explanation as opposed to me being like, why would you do this? You know,
yeah.
why would you do this? Why would you do that?
Why would you run what was I running the other day? Instead of manual CPC, I had it as I forgot what it was.
You had maximized clicks.
Maximize clicks. Yeah.
But you have to consider your objective, right? What
Yeah.
is your overall objective? If you're trying to get as many people as possible on your website, then maximize clicks isn't a bad strategy,
Yes.
right? But if you're more concerned for the overall conversion rate,
Conversion and cost per acquisition, right? Like figure
yeah,
out. So
then I think you should run a manual campaign first. Of course, going into detail how exactly you would put it together again varies depending on what type of campaign you're running. But yeah, I'm focused on conversions.
yeah. Uh, what do you think about? Well, I actually for my digital group X, I ran the famous unfamous single keyword ad group, and
Mhm.
it was pretty funny because you were the first one that told me about it. I didn't know what it was, so I started like researching about this the single keyword ad group, and because I wanted to get more advice and get other perspectives, I went on Reddit. I
Yeah.
went on the Reddit ads subreddit, and I asked some people for advice, and I was like, "What do you guys think about like single keyword ad group?" And I just thought it was kind of funny to see everybody's reaction. Some people just hated them.
Mm,
I don't know why.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
why, but I was like, I thought I could have. Uh, the impressions and the click through rate were pretty good though. I'll say that much. And I think it's very accurate because the ad actually matches the keyword. So it's definitely
so, and I'm just curious too, what kind of criticism did they provide? Did they just say they hate it or did they say why they hate it?
I mean, I could go and look into the account and pull out the actual thread, but they were like, oh my god, if I see skag again, I'm gonna lose my mind. That kind of stuff. So I guess I don't know. They just like dismissed it, you know. I guess they were like people that were like, oh, I don't know, like perhaps it's people that are not like, you know, something's been working out for them for a while, and any type of change. I mean, it makes sense if it's working out for them, you know, like just the standard campaigns, and then coming up with this. Perhaps they were like, you know, perhaps they tried it and didn't work out for them, or you know, or it became one of those things that it was very popular and everybody was doing it, and I don't know. But that was the impression that I got. You know, they were like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna pull my hair if I see this phrase again."
So yeah, man, you gotta again think about the level of beginner that the person's at, and if you're going to an experienced agency that's going to be handed a $100,000 a month budget, then yeah, doing SCAG is going to be super tedious.
Yeah,
And
so many
for
keywords, man.
okay, so here's one benefit for SCAG right away. It's very organized, right? So
Yeah,
you have your single keyword ad groups. You're focused on one keyword with each match type, the broad,
yeah,
the phrase, and the exact. So within that ad group now, after I get some data collected, I can see my search terms, and then I can look down by the match type, and I can get a general idea of which uh, keyword and match type triggered that click, right?
yeah,
Caused that click. And that's good for organization purposes, right? And to get a good idea of what kind of match types work best for your campaign. But yeah, if someone the other day someone told me they were happy that Google was getting rid of broad match modifiers because now
well,
they can just focus on phrase match. And that's the strategy, right?
yeah,
That's their strategy. But like, to say you hate SCAG just because it's almost like it seems to be like this kind of it goes without saying we should hate it type of strategy. But I found it very beneficial when running
yeah,
my search text campaigns,
yeah,
especially if I want to keep this simple.
yeah, for sure, you know. And did you well, I guess because you know you run a lot of shopping campaigns, so I guess you know this like new changes by Google did not interfere much your you know your campaigns, right? Because they got rid of the phrase modify where you put the plus sign.
Yeah, the phrase match modifier. Sorry, my dad is texting me.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, so there were three. They had broad, phrase, and phrase modify. I think they got rid of the phrase modify. So now it's just everything is just broad or phrase. That's it.
Yeah, so it's really, but you can use exact as well, but it's still just because it's not modified, I think it still can provide value in terms of what type of search terms. Ideally, you could assume that, okay, well, my exact match or my broad match might convert the most, or depending on what you're trying to aim for, because you're thinking about your product at the end of the day. If we're back on e-commerce, right?
Yeah,
Thinking about my product at the end of the day. So um, maybe in the past, I might have gotten a lot of search terms from my shopping campaigns, and that's one other thing I point out, right? Because I want to see the type of search terms that are converting from my Google Shopping ad campaigns, and then those are the keywords that I'm going to now test a search text ad with, right?
hmm,
Now, again, I'm looking at this from the perspective of um, I want to know exactly what phrase match, sorry, what kind of match type and keyword are getting the most attention and, good click-through rate. So then potentially, if I have a broad match keyword that is just sucking up all the clicks in the ad group,
yeah,
we can adjust that. So once I see my shopping campaigns and I look in those search terms over a period of time, extended period of time, I can then decide those are the keywords I want to use for a test, um, a search text campaign. And
Yeah.
of course, it's, sometimes it can come down to your niche's seasonality, right? The very foundation of a campaign sometimes can come down to seasonality, especially if it's just a general, like, hey, this product 10% off, right? If you're trying to sell a exercise bike in summer versus in the winter,
In the
or
winter.
if it, or vice versa with a grill, right? If you're trying to sell
Mm-hmm.
a grill in the winter versus the summer. So those all play a factor. But at the end of the day, once you get enough conversion data, you should be able to look at those search terms and get a general idea of what
Yeah.
good converting search terms would be, and not just using the keyword planner, right? Because for a fact from these Google searches on Google Shopping, these terms convert. So I can logically assume, based off this conversion data, the amount of conversions I have, that I can run a search text ad with this keyword. And why not then do a SCAG, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not do a SCAG then?
Yeah, it seems like perhaps like a SCAG, it would be something that is when once you have like just a lot of data, right?
Yeah.
You have a
And
lot
you
of
can,
data and
sorry, you can also argue, because some people will just say, you don't need to do I mean, the broad keyword, right? You can just do a phrase and then you can do exact match,
yeah.
which should be just fine as well. So I've heard that argument in terms of the SCAG strategy and the critique that it draws.
No, it's definitely interesting, man. The whole ad thing, at Google AdWords and stuff like that. It's just amazing the type of it's like a world of its own, right? Like just like to once if you get deep into it, right? Because at
Hmm.
first it kind of seems very simple, right? You just put in a keyword and you launch a smart campaign. Well, that's how Google sells it now. Like,
Is
you
it?
know,
I don't even remember, but I had a I at one point when I think 2017, I had a really, really good, account. It was just like good conversion rate, good account. Um, Everything was fine. And then, one day I woke up and I opened up Google Ads to check my search terms for, the last 7 days. And I see this recommendation, and it's just like, you have enough conversion data now to use Google's machine learning or smart campaigns or whatever. They
yeah, that's
believe
when they launched
that
it, though. I think, right?
yeah, they believe we could drive more conversions or something like that along the lines. That was a while ago when I saw that, and I was like, dope, makes sense, because I've had over like 1,000 sales at that time. So I figured
Yeah.
the machine must have a good idea
Mhm.
for my website, what kind of, and I don't want to say that you shouldn't run, because I think what I realize is that it it can be good, but you have to give it a chance to run its course. But here's my problem with it. Why can't I decide the negative keywords? Why can't I decide where the ad is placed? Right?
On the smart, yeah.
Yeah, for smart. I don't know what my search terms are. Um, I don't know where my ad's being placed exactly, right? I
Yeah.
can't limit that. I'm on search partners. And for all I know, people are just typing in really low quality keywords, and not Google's just trying to get it to whoever they can.
Yeah.
So let's say
I
I was
mean, that's the
getting,
idea of Google, right? At the end of the day, they're just trying to make as much money as everybody else.
yeah, yeah. So, and you see those like easy, at one point, there was a point where you had to actually have about 50 conversions before you use a smart shopping campaign. But
Mhm.
now all of a sudden you can just start your website and turn on smart shopping campaign, and you have to ask yourself, well, what has changed over time, right?
Well, that's the default now. Like when you start a campaign, Google automatically they set up a smart campaign for you, you
Mm,
know? So you kind of have to, you're forced to like,
the anywhere and everywhere ad, that's what it is.
yeah, you're forced to start it, but then you can just pause it, and just delete it.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me now that I launched my campaign, my
And
racing
I don't know
campaign.
how much it's changed, but this is in regards to a smart shopping campaign that I did years back. So I
Mm-hmm.
switched over, which was incredibly stupid to do, but again, it was just like you learn as you come along, I guess.
Yeah.
I was in my second year, third year of drop shipping, and I was just like I never thought about changing my account before, but then I was like, I never seen this before either. I was like, maybe I was being let into this,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm being let into this, this special group where Google's like, yo, we're gonna take you to the top now. No, not really. But I thought
Yeah.
that they could get me more conversions, but that's all I really listened to. Because the example I want to show you then is that, like, if I have 100 clicks and I got 5 orders, right?
Yeah.
100 clicks, 5 orders. You can figure out the cost, maybe if it's 30 to 40 cents per click.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with Google was that although the clicks were much cheaper, it was absolutely just I was going from 100 clicks a day to 5 orders to like 1,500 clicks per day to two or
Gee,
three orders.
Jesus. They were just fucking sent. I'm sorry, I didn't want to curse,
Okay.
but they were just sending out the impressions to everybody.
I think anywhere and everywhere will do. It's just spray and pray more so than you know, because it's
Yeah.
like, dude, if someone checks their email, of course I'm not, but like as a drop shipper, I'm not a super aggressive advertiser,
Yeah.
right?
Just
I
take to
don't
search.
Yeah, I know where I'm looking for the intent search keywords. So search results from ads is where I want to be. In terms of like email, I don't want to show up in that little pocket in your email promotions. I don't want to show up on search partner websites. And again, I can't really decide what keyword they should be optimizing for me. They
Yeah.
just basically are like, we're gonna throw this around. And of course, I think you had to give it time, but I waited maybe over that course. I ended up just spending a lot of money more and didn't really make much more money. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
just like
Like it
I
was
was
kind of like a waste of time.
I was boasting volume, but I wasn't necessarily pulling profit.
And what happened with the other campaign? Did you pause it or you were running it too?
I switched it over, so I kind of essentially screwed it up, right? So after about 3 months, I switched it back, but then I was like, I don't think they're gonna forgive me for this. The algorithm, the Lord, oh Lord, Algorithmo is not gonna forgive me for this.
Yeah.
So I basically was like, okay, I'm gonna create new campaigns,
Yeah. Okay.
and that's when I started to learn about the three-tiered strategy.
The computer and or a different
No,
thing.
no, no. That's because segmenting by device is cool, but you actually already have that data, and you can,
Mhm.
uh, if you wanted to, for example, I know people say that I like to organize my ads by campaign by device.
Yeah.
So they'll have a campaign for their desktop, a campaign for their mobile, and
And
campaign for
tablet.
tablet. And they think like, okay, well, if I know how much each device is drawing per click, that's cool, right? Yeah, that's a cool, useful strategy, but it doesn't necessarily bring up the quality of the search term at the time. It doesn't guarantee that just because someone's on a desktop is not using a low quality search term to
Yeah.
find your ad, right? Whereas if you do a three-tiered strategy, you could segment it by priority, add pre-negative keywords connected under a shared budget, and then it acts as a filtration process, right? So
Hmm.
low quality search term will land in high priority, lowest cost per click. Whereas if someone searches your brand name and product model or SKU, it lands in your low priority where you set your highest click.
Yeah.
Right? Pre-negative keywords act as barriers between the filters. So that way, when people have a high quality search term, it lands, you're paying the most for it, but you're most likely to convert for it as well,
Yeah.
right? And over time, it's like dollar cost averaging with crypto. You know, if you instead of trying to time the market, if you just say I'm going to spend, this much every month over a period of 3 years, they say that it's almost 100% possibility probability that you'd end up profitable, right?
Oh wow. Uh-huh. Oh wow.
So you'd say, like, almost, if you compared that to, say, if you just said a flat click of 70 cents,
Yeah.
here's all products, 70 cents. Here's my three campaigns, 20 cents, 30 cents, and 40 cents. And let's just say this one campaign is going to be 40 cents, right? So we have 30, 40, 50, or 30, 40, 50, and then this one's 50, right? You have to think your high quality search terms. You're going to get a lot more high quality search terms. Low quality search terms in the beginning. So you'll get a lot of clicks in your high priority campaign,
Mm-hmm.
right? You'll get maybe a little more few, depending on the popularity of your brand and your medium. And then the brand name, brand model, these people are in the buying phase already.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I may get low quality search terms, but still pay 50 cents. I may get high quality search terms, and my ad won't show, right? But it'd be a mix. I'm paying the same for each click and not paying based on quality. So that's another reason why I like that, using my
Yeah.
shopping app search terms for future search text campaigns.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
didn't I, I didn't know that. So that's actually very useful information, man, And
Yeah, man.
what about let's move on to Facebook. What do you think about Facebook ads? I think we agree, right? Like
I
we
think
like
if it's, I don't know, for me personally, I never had much luck with cold campaigns. I um I had I do remarketing, so like warm audiences. So anything that comes from Google or Bing, I can remarket to on Facebook. But as a primary method for conversions, no,
no
not at
sure.
least. Tough on the
Yeah.
US audience for me.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
still
Do you remember I think I'm still in that group, the drop shipping group. And I would just remember I would just see a lot of people were like, oh man, like I'm killing I'm killing it with Facebook ads. And I was like, wow, that's impressive if they're getting those type of sales with just like putting, a product in people's faces. I know like they target,
there's
there's way to
a
target like groups that people join and stuff like that to kind of have like,
not
relatable audiences
I
and
see
stuff
that
like
too,
that.
yeah. But two things I think that you have to consider is that, one, I use a high ticket drop shipping model. I'm selling 300, 400, five
Yeah.
hundred dollar items at a minimum price. Whereas, like, Facebook is clearly, I mean, it's so interruptive that the amount of impulse required to push that sell sometimes people just need to see the proof, right? They just need to see like 100 comments and 500 likes for them to go, okay, this must be legit. Who knows what the vetting system is? But yeah, with Facebook ads, for me, it's just remarketing, because as a primary method, my product average order value is way too high for them.
Yeah.
So to interrupt someone and say, okay, I'll spend $400, you know,
Yeah,
if it's like ten
I
dollars
remember.
or $15, sure.
Yeah, for sure. I remember I think that's when I remember when I sold the wonder. I sold like the hoodie and a shirt from my shop, and it was through a remarketing campaign. Like somebody went on the website first because they searched for that term, and then they found it, and then I just like I was running a remarketing campaign, and I saw through the funnel that it was from Facebook, the purchase, right? So I agree with you, man. I think like Facebook is definitely, I think it's a great tool just for remarketing campaigns. I don't know how those people that that sell. I mean, they probably have their methods and everything, right? Who knows? But there's definitely
What, for like services?
no for sales.
Oh, you mean like just product sales, right?
Yeah, like some of these people that are like, oh yeah, I've been selling to Facebook ads and stuff like that, and so
Mm, yeah, again, things to come. It comes down to the price, man, of the service. if you interrupt someone and say, hey, for $20, I can potentially make you happier or solve a problem for you,
Yeah.
versus if you say, sign up for my $2,000 course, or my $2,000, buy my $2,000 bedroom set. It's
Yeah.
just different. The quality, again, the quality. I'm not saying that people, not everyone, right? I'm not saying everyone will not be interested. But what I'm saying is that if they came from Google based on a keyword intent search, then coming and remarketing to them on Facebook makes a lot more sense, just to kind of serve as a reminder.
Yeah.
Right. And you know how Facebook records their conversions. Even if they scroll past that thing and then come back to your website and purchase, they're
Mhm.
gonna count that as a conversion.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Mike, I think we ran like a good amount of time for today, you know.
Or
Uh
okay, how long
why
did we
don't
talk?
I think we it's because I think we have like a 40-minute limit
Okay,
on the
cool.
Zoom. But why don't you tell people like, you know, about your website where they can find you if they wish to, you know, check it out.
Yeah. Well, that's still in the process. So if it stays unknown for now, it'd be better because it's not finished. I don't really feel like putting up one of those up in maintenance
Okay, still
pages. Yeah, I
oh,
think it needs about a good 2 more weeks, but yeah, the website is basically focused on providing e-commerce help, uh, as a service as well, right? So we can help you with setting up your dropship business if you want to get into high ticket dropshipping specifically, help you find suppliers, how to go about forming your business legally, and setting up your website, the design elements for setting up your website, how to establish social proof so you can essentially have trust with customers to reduce customer anxiety, how we want to create our campaigns, and then our overall ad strategy as well. So how are we going to set up our Google, Bing, Facebook, Pinterest ads all together so that they can work as one engine to drive conversions.
yeah.
And then from there, just optimizing and simplifying, or more to say automating, right? So optimizing so that you don't have to do as much work, hiring virtual assistants, and then essentially just kind of trying to turn it into a passive income, somewhat passive income, because it's never entirely passive, right? So,
Yeah.
you can make it somewhat passive. Like, I want to get people to the point where they can say, I don't feel like working today,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna go to Cali. I have
Yeah.
enough money in my bank. I'm gonna just go to Cali and chill with some friends on their own whim, right? As a someone, that's what kind of was my dream, to come out here into Thailand and do something like that. So
Yeah. That's cool, man. So yeah, we'll definitely be I'll plug it in, you know, once it's up and running. I'll just put it in the under the description of the video. So
sure.
yeah, hopefully you know, we'll have a more series of like digital marketing and everything related to ads and, you know, I want to explore I heard like YouTube ads have been very good recently. I've been
I
hearing
think
about
video ads, I mean, it's a new way to, if ever, to run a commercial, right?
especially now since like
Reach a
YouTube
broad
is like
audience.
every
And
5 seconds is like ad.
I actually, a funny thing, right? So I was talking to a guy who owns an e-commerce company out here, and they work with people. I don't know how much time we have left, Alex, so just let me know real quick.
Yeah, no, you can go. You can go ahead.
Uh,
Just go
um,
for it. We can. I just
he
wanted
has
to.
they work with clients in Indonesia, in Qatar, and some in the US, right?
Yeah,
And he was basically just like, people don't watch TV anymore, man. They just watch YouTube.
they
And he's just
don't,
like, that's
man.
like, that's where we just use video ads for all of our products. And he goes, video ads over any type of other type of ad format has converted best for them. And they
Yeah,
do
I
more like the low ticket stuff.
yeah I've been hearing just from like many different people and stuff like that. They're like everybody's like, oh yeah, everyone's all about the YouTube ads, you know, because
Yeah.
you know nobody wants to pay for that YouTube premium. Some people pay for it, you know, but most people in general will not pay for the YouTube premium.
No, no.
And so like what's everybody doing every day while they're working? Everybody's got their music or something.
I I feel like if I got YouTube Premium, I would stop using YouTube and just waste my money. I don't know why.
You
I
stop
feel like
using YouTube?
I feel like I just feel like, because the one convenient thing about it is that you can use it whenever you want to,
Yeah.
right? But if you start to pay for it, you start to feel obligated to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to. So, because now you have to get your money's worth. So,
Yeah.
I can't. And then what would end up happening is I would be like, oh, this cool feature, no ads. And then maybe not even go check YouTube for like 2 or 3 days, 4 days or something. I don't know. Just something that happens with me.
Yeah, man. So what are some topics that we might be able to explore in the future, you think? Well, I want to touch a little bit about SEO, how we both been a little bit successful with SEO,
Sure, sure. We could talk about
search for
SEO. We
search
can
engine
talk about,
optimization.
yeah. I mean, we're not gonna build a course for people, right?
No, no. Of course, if people want some like assistance or advice, they
Yeah,
can definitely reach out. But
yeah.
it's definitely something that people can just a lot of people don't even know what SEO is, man.
The thing is, dude, even if we did build a course, I'll be 100% honest, right? If we even did build a course and we laid it down word for word, map, gave every individual detail that I gave and you gave to creating our businesses, and we said it was 100% free, I think less people would take advantage of it
Yeah,
than if we said here it's going to cost 5.99.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's that because people don't value free to the way you hope that they do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Well, this is free, so it might not be that it's low quality. Maybe that's why I'm gonna wait for someone else. And
yeah,
people's time too, right? They think like, I don't want to commit my time to something that doesn't provide what I thought it would.
yeah, for sure,
So
man.
one thing I hate is those pain points, where
Yeah.
you try to make people. Yeah. Do you want to live the life of your dreams? Do you want to be able to wake up every day and flick money in the air? Do you want to show up in robes with Ferraris and, then you need this course?
Strippers,
I was like you. I was once very poor and da 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 da. And you're just like
strippers.
strippers. So, overselling something, and I think a lot of the time people don't realize the amount of work that they have to put in. Like, dude, when I was like, it's like buying the lottery when you just start. And I'm not saying that you're actually like, it has the same probability of you being successful as a lottery, but as you're new to this, you're kind of like, okay, I hope my first website could potentially end up being the next Amazon. That would be
Uh-huh.
great. But the
Of
chances of
course.
that actually happening are, you know what I mean, very
Yeah,
slim.
there's
I'm not saying
is
you can't be successful in your first store, but like it's more likely for you to kind of mess up your first store and have to shut it down. And then, okay, what did you learn? What can I do better for the next one? And that's
yeah.
kind of how you can improve until you find that one home run that you
Well,
just keep running with.
yeah, for sure, man. 100%. I've been learning that myself, so I'm definitely still on the path to get it.
Well, I
It's
think the
it.
hardest part though, Alex, I'm sorry
Uh-huh.
to cut you off, but I think
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
hardest part is being able to admit this was a bad idea and move on.
Yeah, of course. You're your worst critic, right? That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely sure, because you're like, no, man, I got a dream, bro.
Hey, why do people hold on to a stock that's dropped, 30% and still think like, diamond hands. This is gonna go
God.
to the moon.
Yeah, man. I've been. I'll say this, bro. Actually, I made very good profit this year with. I had one bad run, and that was with GME because I bought it when it was high. But after that, dude, like all the stocks that I bought, there was one that was called TRCH, man.
Mhm.
Me and Reggie, we killed it, man. I think I made like $600-700 profit on that one. I
Oh
bought
yeah.
like $100 worth of it, man.
Mhm.
And we were like following it, and then 1 month it just blew up. It
Have you
went
seen
up.
it today? It's blown up a bit today.
TRCH.
No, I'm just saying like the crypto market in general is up 11. Is it up 11? No, it's up quite a bit though. I'm looking, okay, Ethereum is up 11%, dude. Almost at touching 2,800,
Nice.
which, last time I checked, it was at 24.
Well, right now the whole cryptocurrency is like, I think it's gonna maybe recover in September, October. I know it takes
Yeah.
a while for it to.
Well, yeah, they say the bear markets tend to last quite a while, so.
And I also heard like they're trying to make it illegal or something, crypto in general. I don't
Oh, in
know.
the US?
Yeah.
That's really tough for them to do, I guess. Yeah, because then you would have to, they could definitely do it though.
Yeah.
It would definitely hinder, because then all you have to do is basically say like banks can't accept.
Dude, I just saw a little thing fly up on the screen.
Above me.
Yeah, like it was like a string, like somebody
Yeah,
like pulled it up like that.
yeah, there are
But
kind of some ghosts around here though. So
but thank you, Mike. We can probably end it, because I think we
cool,
definitely
cool,
went over the limit.
cool, cool. Yes.
So thank you guys, and hopefully we'll make a few more videos, all right?
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep trying to do it. We could try to post consistently, and then just keep talking about these topics. Maybe create like a nice little collection over time.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.